The first round of the NFL draft is done, and the Detroit Lions somehow, some way, trade up,
Yes.
get the steal of the draft, and it's because of who they got, where they got him, how they got him. So, Craig, break down how we got terrion Arnold at pick number 24,
Yep.
which was just amazing. How we got him, and then also kind of what this means for the Lions and why he's such a good player. But so yeah, let's start with how we got him and how we traded up.
Okay, so we traded up and we had the 29th pick in the first round. And here's the thing, me and you, Chris, were sitting here. We had Clint on the show. You got our live reaction. Watch that. We put that video out as well. And it's one of those things where we're sitting there at 29 and we're seeing all these defensive players fall, right? They're just falling. They're falling. And I'm like, oh, we all are saying, how nice would it be to have Quinyon Mitchell or terrion Arnold? I don't care which one. It's just like those are top-notch corners.
Yep.
Like, but they're not going to fall to us at 29. They're not. And then Brad Holmes is like, you're right, guys. Don't worry. They're not. I got you covered. And he traded up and we got rid of pick 29 and pick 73 this year. So we got rid of our first round pick and our third round pick. And we moved up 5 spots to number 24. And we also got a 7th rounder next year for that. And we used that trade to get terrion Arnold, arguably the best corner in the draft between him and Quinyon Mitchell. And I like terrion Arnold a lot.
Yes.
A lot. We got our corner, baby. Go.
We did. Craig and I were talking during this. Was like, all right, let's get a corner. Like, it just feels as we watched other teams in our division get receivers, get offensive players, and it's like, oh man, that's the one area we'd not fully set up because we addressed defensive tackle this offseason. We still would like an edge rusher, but defensively we've really improved, but we needed that corner. And so to get a number 1 type of corner at pick 29, or where we were sitting at 29, and then to come up and get that
be hard to do.
Is just not what we expected, because these we talked about it in the stream about corners, wide receivers. There's just better wide receivers and more volume of better wide receivers coming out each year than there is corners. So it's just hard to get good corners. And if you can get one, you have to. And I think Brad Holmes is like, let's go get him. And now we know that we don't have a pick. We don't have a 3rd or 4th round pick, but I love seeing Brad Holmes be aggressive, because if he's aggressive, it means this guy's good.
It means this guy's good. It means, and in Brad Holmes, we trust. We say that over and over again.
Yep.
But as you see what the other teams in our in the North are doing, you're like, okay, we need to figure something out. When you see the Packers and what Jordan Love has become, when you see the Vikings go and trade up just 1 spot to go and get JJ McCarthy, which, good or bad, take it or leave it, I don't know. It's a good offense over there. When you see the Bears go and get Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, all of a sudden you're saying to yourself, like, oh my goodness, like, our defense has improved, but who's going to be our corner to stop, or at least play around with Justin Jefferson or Rome Odunze or DJ Moore, or like, I mean, there's just so many good receivers, and you're just like, thank you so much, Brad Holmes, because terrion Arnold is a guy who does have, and he does show like he could be that guy. I think he absolutely has the ability to be that number 1 corner where you're just like, yep, put him out there. He can make it happen.
Yep. 100%. And we look at this is what we're talking about. We just, PFF puts this out, and it just starts looking at grades, and it's like coverage grade, his coverage grade at outside corner, money, coverage grade at slot, at single coverage, a coverage grade against a clean pocket. So this is saying the quarterback has time, clean pocket, makes the throw, he still covers them. I mean, this guy kind of is exactly what we were looking for, just because, like we were talking about, we had to get better defensively. We know offensively that we're going to have Sam Laporte a 2nd year, Jahmyr Gibbs 2nd year.
Yep.
Jameson Williams just getting into his really figuring it out. Amon-Ra St. Brown in his prime now, Jared Goff in his
Yes.
prime. Like, we feel really good about the offense, but the defense had to get better, and this was a big hole, and we just fill a need and best player available. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and what I look at too, like you can watch the tape. I like, to have smooth in and out of breaks, smooth hips. Like, can you change direction quick? Do you have decent closing speed? All that to the eye test was very good. But what I like to look at, even more than these PFF grades, right? I like PFF grades. Don't get me wrong. I think they help paint a clear picture because all of us are more used to watching offense, aren't we? Like, we watch the offensive side of the ball. Most of us, as a casual fan, watch the offensive side of the ball. And so what I love to look at for corners is, what is the passer rating allowed when people
Mm,
are throwing against him? Here's some of the numbers for him last year. Because he was on a team in Alabama that had two good corners, both him and Kool-Aid, he got
yeah.
targeted a lot. He got targeted 79 times. So he was tested often. In those 79 targets, he only gave up 41 catches. That's just over 50%. 441 yards. He had 5 interceptions, and he gave up a passer rating of 50.7. That's fantastic.
Dude,
Fantastic.
this
Just
guy.
a consistent good player.
Yep. And this is what we as we were watching this, and like we said, with those two top corners that really were mocked to go early,
Mm-hmm.
12th. I mean, we saw these guys in the top 15 because corner is hard to come by. But what did we see? We saw quarterbacks go, then tackles go, and then a wide receiver here. The top wide receivers started
Yep.
to go, and then before you know it, you're at pick 18, and it's like, well, all right, well, let's see what happens. And then
Yeah.
that's when you and I started to notice these top two corners. And yeah, we were just like, you were saying, man, they're not going to make it. I was saying, I want a corner. You said we need to get ahead of the Packers.
Yeah, that was fun.
More fun than anything, like get in front of the Packers. Everything fell into place, and it was just really, really well done by Brad Holmes. And I just, man, I was getting a little, I was not down, but I was just like, dang, felt like everybody was getting better in
Mhm.
our division ahead of us, and we
Yeah.
weren't doing anything because we weren't until we did. And then it's like, thank you. I feel
Thank
so
you.
much better. We're good.
Yeah, I feel better because when you have the caliber of wide receiver, not only in our division, but in the NFL,
Mm.
you can't keep running out mediocre corners.
No.
You just can't. You have to have an elite corner on your team. He gives us that opportunity. You
Yes.
can't just keep running out mediocre corners. I'm not saying Carlton Davis isn't a good corner. I think he is a good corner,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think we all said last year Cam Sutton's a good corner, but they're not number ones.
No. And
Like, give me a number one.
and
I just
right.
got one.
And we really haven't had a good corners and since Darius Slay,
I'll agree with
that
that.
that we 2013, 10
Yeah.
years ago or whatever. But we haven't had
Yeah, it
a
was a little more recent, but yeah.
we haven't had a good corner in a while, and we really thought Cam Sutton was it, and Cam Sutton was it for the first half of last year. It's like, okay, cool. He kind
Yeah.
of settled that half of the field down. Then suddenly something happened, and he was getting thrashed all over, and then it was and then we saw what happens when we made some changes, I guess, in the secondary, and the difference that made just by bringing in Vildor, who's not even
Not even good.
good, but he settled down just like one side of the field, and it's like, man, the Lions really this corner position just matters more than I wanted to ever admit in my life because I thought, yeah, just go out. It's like, man, it's just a big difference.
When we kind of figured out our defensive philosophy, right? Which is blitz, try and make plays and let the corners do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we just didn't have the corners to execute that plan last year. I think we do this year. I
Yep.
think we have 3, 4 good corners,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like, you have 4 good corners: Brian Branch, Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson, and now terrion Arnold.
Yeah, that's right. The Brian Branch thing is huge because we
Yeah.
have him at nickel.
And this might even allow him to play safety a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because you can put Robertson in the slot at the nickel.
Mhm.
And I mean, this could allow you to move around a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. So
And
we Mhm.
that's what Brad Holmes loves. Players who can play
Dude.
multiple positions. Terrion Arnold, you just saw the graph on PFF. He can play anywhere on the field.
Mhm.
So let him play.
Dude, this was I'm getting more and more excited about it
I know.
because we had to
I
have
know.
this. The more now that we have it, it's like we because Amik Robertson is a really good like depth piece. And
Yep.
that's awesome to have, and we need that. But
Huge.
he's
Yep.
not. You can't be like, all right, man, you're on that side, and Carlton Davis, you're on this side. It's like, oh, I don't like that. So love it,
Shut it
man.
down.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, if one of you gets injured, like to go through a 17 game season in playoffs without a corner getting hurt for a minute,
Right.
like it's going to happen. So you need to have other players.
Here
You need
comes
to have
Will
players
Harris
that can
back
come in.
in.
Oh
For the
no. Oh no.
Jeez. Will Harris. Oh, man. Well,
Oh
hey,
no.
join us, like, for the second round. We'll be on for the
Yeah.
second round. A lot of fun. We have you have to because we're gonna be really after the second round, we don't have another pick for a while. So check us
Yeah.
out. Check us out there. Any closing thoughts on this, Craig?
Yeah. My closing thoughts are thank you, Brad Holmes.
Mhm.
Like, once again, thank you, Brad Holmes. And I just love his willingness to be aggressive. I'm usually trade back guy,
Mhm.
right? And that's proven to not always be the right move. And so I love going out in a draft where it felt like one more really, really talented piece away from continuing to
Yes.
stay on top of the North. We found a way to do it.
Mhm. Yep.
I love what you said, how it felt like all the other teams were getting better and we were staying stagnant. And it's just like that. I think that's partially, us being captive of the moment.
Yep.
But at the same time, it did feel that way. And it was like, come on, do something. And we did something. So I'm really pumped at the way we not only responded, but how we got best player available at a position of need.
Mm. That's
I
hard
love
to
when you can
do.
combine them both.
Yep.
Hard to
Love it.
do.
Love it.
There you
Well,
go.
join us tomorrow, and man, this is awesome, and we'll see everybody on the next one. See ya.
See ya.